What's going on, guys? Welcome to the press conference reaction. Ruben Amorim and Matthias de Ligt have just been speaking to the media ahead of the tie against Real Sociedad tomorrow at an awkward time. I think it's around 5:45 or something, kickoff, which is just bizarre. But we've had some interesting things, questions and topics that have been brought up in this press conference, so I definitely want to cover them. Things like Matthias de Ligt's been talking about. We haven't seen him really, we've seen him speak to the media in kind of interviews and stuff, but we haven't seen him in a press conference room yet, I don't think. We've had a squad update with the youngsters, players like Jack Fletcher, CHIDO-OBI Martin, and we've also had a couple of updates on Manuel Ugarte and Harry Maguire not being available for this game, which isn't great, but fingers crossed, hopefully they'll be available for the Arsenal game, because we're going to need those two players in particular, because that is going to be a tough but yeah, those two not available for this one. However, Patrick Dorgu is, which is fantastic news. I'll get into that a little bit later on. But let's start off with Ruben Amorim's quotes, okay? We'll dive into them and we'll get the reaction. So initially, he got asked why he hasn't included more youngsters in the squad, with there being gaps left due to players being injured or whatever the scenario is, or not being registered. He says, I'm trying to manage everything. It's a big step for them. I'm trying to think about every aspect. I'm not thinking about what it'll look like with their friends and the media. On the current squad options in the future, he said, because we're out of the Cups, that could change a lot of things. Manchester United can have the goal to have the best players in the future. I understand that the Europa League can change things. Now, this is squad management from Ruben Amorim. I think, for me, the press and the media seems to have this kind of weird obsession with just forcing the youth at times. Why not playing them? Why not playing them? And it's like, I feel like some of them have already got really good opportunities. I think Chido had, 55 minutes of like top level football against Fulham when he's like 17 years old. Now, sometimes it's forced. Sometimes they play him due to the situations that are going on at the club. Aidan Heaven came on and made an appearance at centre-back. Didn't really look out of place for the 20-30 minutes, however long it was that he got in. The actual age of the squad, the overall age, I'll speak about Dorgu there. Dorgu's only 20 years old, for example. Garnacho's 19. Rasmus Højlund is 21. Zirkzee is 23. Ugarte's 23. Like, you've got quite an overall... I mean, de Ligt, who's sat next alongside Ruben Amorim today, is only 24, 25. So it's actually overall, you've got a relatively young squad on average, and people keep forcing, like, why are you not playing youngsters? Why are you not doing this? It's a bizarre one, strange one for me, but look, just because they're not taking plays, it's not the end of the world. He was speaking about not bringing Harry Amas because he played the full amount of minutes against Arsenal, I think it was, in the Youth Cup. So this is why he decided not to bring him. That's fine. Why are people having beef with this? I don't quite understand it. He also got asked about the system and if he'll change the formation. I feel like he gets asked this question every single week. Every single week. Are you going to pivot? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And you guys can already imagine the answer that he gave, right? So he says, I think the system's not the problem. It is the way of playing. We have a lot of problems and we're trying to work on the problems. Every system needs different characteristics. I'm really confident. I'm still really confident I will not change that. Now, the main line out of that for me is every system needs different characteristics, right? That's the main point you want to take from that, right? Look at the one player that he has recruited in this team, in Patrick Dorgu, right? That is his only signing that he has given his blessing to. Other than that, the team that he's currently dealing with is just a mixed bag of spanners from different managers. That's quite disrespectful. Not mixed bag of spanners, but just a mixed bag of players who are not either good enough athletically or good enough technically. And you just got this whole mess on the pitch, basically, that he hasn't recruited any of them. You get one player who fits the characteristics of this team, and he's already one of our better performing players in Patrick Dorgu. So if that doesn't tell you, I'm not saying every player is going to hit the ground running like that, but it just shows, doesn't it? Like, you bring in one player and the difference that it makes. From having Dorgu on the left-hand side to having Dalot is night and day. Night and day difference. So if you think you get a couple more players and you bring a Kender in instead of playing Majrari at right wing back, for example, you bring a Gyökeres in or an Osman up top, you bring in another centre back who's a bit better on the ball, more progressive, he's quicker, he's stronger. You'll see an instant change, in my opinion, and that's why I personally am willing to be patient with Amorim. It might not always work out. People want results now. I absolutely get that, and we need results now. Fully understand it, but I get what he's trying to do, and Amorim's system only works if you have specific players set up in there for it. And that's why it's not looking great at the moment. And I think the adaptation for the squad at the moment has been a little bit tricky and a little bit difficult. But you can see there's something there, in my opinion at least, anyway. He got asked about the Europa League as well and chances of winning it and how he feels, if he's confident or not, and how much of an effect it'll have on the actual club. He's saying if we win the Europa League, it'll be we'll be in an amazing position next season. It's mega for United winning this, absolutely mega. Not only is it worth around £100 million to the club, and I don't need to tell you a lot about finances because, we're in a sticky situation. I mean, people aren't eating apples and shit on the dinner. That's how far to the core we've got. Getting rid of sacking 400 people, making cuts left, right, and centre. So something like this, if he was to win the Europa League, would be massive for the club financially. Not only just that, obviously, when you go into the summer and you have Champions League football to offer, for example, Victor Gyökeres, right? We've seen, I think, Laurie Whitwell reported that we can't bring him in, but he's more looking for a club with Champions League football, right? United get into the Champions League through the Europa, bang, you go, okay, you can offer it him. So that's the difference that you can make. I think Champions League football for any player, obviously everyone wants to play in it, it's the pinnacle, and it's just easier to attract players. Now, Amorim went on to say, now this isn't crucial for the future of the club winning this tournament. And I get what he's saying, because he's thinking long-term, right? He's thinking past this and all the other issues that are on top of it. I get that side of it. But to win that this season, I know it's like someone just put their rusty guns. We can't afford another rebuild if he doesn't succeed. We're going to be in a large mess. So patience and persistence, the two Ps, for me, going forward with this club, I think we need to have. I think people are so reactionary nowadays. Amorim has come in mid-season when he didn't want to come in mid-season. He left a team that was top of the league and unbeaten in Europe to join this shit show, right? So he obviously sees some form of potential in there, sees something that he can work with, but he just needs time, and he didn't want to come in midway through the season having to do it. But United, well, it's now or never, mate. And when United come calling, you know what managers do. So he's come in, dealt with the everything that's ongoing outside and on the pitch, and he's sticking to his guns. And you want a manager, if a manager starts pivoting and going, oh, actually, do you know what I'll do? Anyone who watched Real Madrid last night, for example, and Atletico Madrid, both of them set up, two backs of four, two strikers up top, and both of them counter-attacking, right? It'd be easy to go, do you know what? Maybe Mazraoui suits a back four better. Maybe he's more comfortable there. Maybe Dalot suits a back four better. More comfortable. Maybe, Kobe Mainu in more of a 4-2-3-1 setup would be better alongside with Gat. Like, you can go through the full team and go, maybe it's more comfortable for them. Fuck that. Don't worry about them getting comfort, because we've had so many managers who have tried pivoting to their needs and it's never gone right. So stick to your core principles and keep going forward and keep pushing forward. And anyone who doesn't want to buy into that, anyone who doesn't, who's moaning or, having a hissy fit about it, get rid of him and continue on this trajectory, because too many times at Manchester United there has been players who have had more power than the manager. So I say stick with him in a minute, for me personally. And yeah, let's see what happens in the Europa League. Now, Matthias de Ligt has also been speaking to the media about the Europa League's importance, and he's saying that is the consequence. If you win the tournament, that's our main goal. We need to take it game by game. We have to put everything on the line to win the game. And look, having someone like Matthias de Ligt can't hurt, can it? I think de Ligt, for some reason, so at the start of the season, he started off a little bit shaky, right? There was certain moments and opportunities where he would jump for the press and he'd get caught a little bit, and he looked a little bit leggy, like a Maguire, and I was sat there like, not sure about this bloke, not sure. Now, as the months have progressed, and maybe this is kind of a natural adaptation to the Premier League, I think he's looked a lot better. I think if you go and watch de Ligt in the last game, he's one of our better players. Probably man of the match for me, personally, in the last game. Really, really good. Great attitude, great leader. And for some bizarre reason, I don't get this agenda that Paul Scholes has against him. It's just like, straight off the bat, as soon as he joined, don't like him. Not good enough, don't rate him. Why has he played for all these clubs without actually, offering any kind of context to it, not looking at the time at Juventus and why it went wrong, or why didn't even really go wrong at Bayern Munich. Little subtle details like this, just straight off the bat, don't like him. And someone like Paul Scholes is obviously a legend of the club. The weight of the words that they have. I mean, is that Roy Keane with Bruno Fernandes as well? Just baffled me. Like, out of everyone, when you walk into it, you walked into a room, right? There's shit all over the walls, there's shit on the floor, there's shit everywhere, and you got Bruno with a mop trying to clean it up, and yeah, sometimes it might smear it a little bit, but he's trying his best to do it, and he's the only one really digging in and rolling his sleeves up and trying to do it right. It's probably not the best analogy, but stick with me. And Roy Keane's gone in. You know, there's others that are kind of like scratching the wrist. You've got Nachos or whatever, just like, not sure. And he's targeted the guy who actually cares for the club and who's actually been pivotal in the past, 8 games recently. He's got an assist every single game or a goal. Who scored in the last game? Bruno Fernandes in the FA Cup. Stick with the FA Cup. Who scored against Arsenal? In the only goal, we went down to 10 men. Bruno Fernandes. Who's got the assist for every set-piece goal he scored in the past couple of games? Everton game. Who scores the free kick? Bruno Fernandes. Who basically gets the assist for Ugarte to equalise? Bruno Fernandes. Strange to me that people are absolutely murdering him. Because if we didn't have him, we'd be absolutely fucked. But I think De Ligt falls into a similar category at the moment where I think he's been putting in some really good performances and it's going under the radar a little bit. So I just want to give him his flowers. Now, on the situation at United, since De Ligt's joined, he says, we have encountered a lot of pressure and a lot of criticism. For me, it's not something different, as I've been at clubs where you're expected to win titles. You have to keep going, you have to work hard, and you have to improve. Yawn, boring. Always say that, dinger. I wouldn't call it a shock how badly United's season has gone. I would have expected to be a little better. We are playing in the Premier League. You could be at 99% and lose. So it's fine margins, basically. I also saw the word luck thrown in there as well, and I was like, I'm not sure about that, mate. I wouldn't call it bad luck, why we've been bad. There's been certain bits be like, oh, God, certain decisions that have gone against us or, injuries at the wrong times and think Dorgu red card, let's say, for example. But I don't think you can call that luck, to be honest with you. I just personally think the quality of the team and this team trying to adapt to Amorim's tactics, just they've struggled. They've really, really struggled. But you've seen also as well players come on leaps and bounds, I think. I think Xerxes was getting booed at Old Trafford. Booed out of the stadium, basically. And there was talks, he's going back to Juventus, he's going back to the Italian league. And now he's a bit of a fan favourite. People love him, singing his name. He's having impacts in games. He's dragging centre-backs out. He's nutmegging players left, right and centre. And it looks like he's starting to adapt a little bit. Manuel Ugarte, when he first come under Eric Ten Hag, everyone was writing him off. Give it a couple of weeks, and he's playing better. So patience can be applied in these scenarios, people. That is what I will keep reiterating to you lot. We had an update on CHIDO-OBI Martin not being registered for Europe at the time, and Amorim replied to this by saying different context in that moment. It was completely different, and we chose different players. Obviously, Rashford obviously would have been one of them. Joshua Zirkzee came in. They had attackers that they've chosen from, right? A lot can change in 6 months' time. Anthony isn't here. He's at Betis with his agent, yapping. Obviously, Rashford's gone to Aston Villa. Tyrone Malacia's gone to PSV. Things have happened, basically, within the 6 months. And, again, this was the first question that got asked. Where's Chido? Why is Chido not in there? All this kind of stuff. I get it. He's the flavour of the month at the minute. Everyone's excited about him. People want to see him more, including myself. Right? But you don't always need to rush a young player into the squad. You know what I mean? It would have been nice for him to get an appearance against Real Sociedad in the Europa League. I'm sure he would have been looking forward to it. But you've still got Rasmus, who's been shite in the Premier League. I will concede that. He's been bottom 4% of strikers. Absolutely. In the Europa League, believe it or not, statistically, he's been in the top 1% in terms of his performance. So it's not the worst thing having someone worst thing in the world, having someone in your squad who's performing like that. So, if Chido's available for Arsenal, there could be a narrative there. We did receive a bit more bad news in regards to the more senior players. So Harry Maguire and Manuel Ugarte are going to be absent for this game. Ruben Amorim saying that we're going to be careful and they can't play, basically. So obviously they're thinking about the Arsenal game on Sunday, which is going to be tricky. Hopefully them two will be available, because Ugarte, if I'm going through our team and I'm like, who do I not want to lose out of this team? Bruno, Ugarte, Ahmad was one of them, but obviously he got injured, so without having to say in that. Bruno, Ugarte, probably De Ligt, to be fair. I wouldn't want to lose. There's probably 3 or 4 players where I'm like, we need to keep hold of them. Maguire, for me, It's not too bad for me personally because I think Ligt can just shift centrally as you centre back, or if you want to throw Lindelof in there, then be my guest. That's not too much of a drastic change. It's a drastic change if you have to take Bruno Fernandes and you put Christian Eriksen in, or if you have to take Ugarte out and you put Casemiro in. The volume and output that you get, which we are definitely going to need against Real Sociedad because they have technicians like Zubamende and Gomez and these guys who can keep hold of the ball really well and make you run. Players like Ugarte are really important. So the fact that he's missing for this game, yeah, not great, is it? Not great at all. But hopefully he's back for Arsenal, because then if he's missing for that game as well, I'm going to flip my lid. I'm going to, yeah, I'll be devastated because he's mega important. Especially with, you know, runners like Declan Rice. And you need to match that in volume or you're going to get absolutely killed. So, yeah, no Manuel Ugarte and no Bruno Fernandes for us. But look, that game tomorrow, I mean, we did the preview for it yesterday. If anyone's seen it, I don't know if you're watching this live or if you're watching this later on. Make sure you check it out on our channel, YouTube, Real Red Stop. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Also, today, we dropped the video on Andre Onana, and I'll put a link in the chat in the YouTube. If you want to go check, I'll put both in. I'll put the preview and I'll put the link for the Andre Onana. And what that video is on Andre Onana is basically going back since he's joined the club. His time here, how many mistakes he's made, why it's not worked out, and effectively why we need a new #1 goalkeeper. And just my opinions on it. And going through each mistake with a fine-tooth comb. And I think people have enjoyed the video, to be fair. There's been decent feedback. So if you want to check that out, both links are in the chat for you to go and check that. Any questions, any topics, any debates that people want to throw in, whether you're live on TikTok or live on YouTube, get them in. I want to hear him. And how are you feeling? Are you confident ahead of this game against Real Sociedad? Because you look at Sociedad at the moment, people. I mean, you're talking... Let's have a look. Where are they? I think they're 9th or something. Are they? 9th in La Liga on 34 points, right? Just for context, they're on 34 points in 9th. Manchester United are 14th on 33 points. So there's literally a point between them. But obviously United are further down the table. They've done relatively well. I mean, they smashed Midtjylland on aggregate. I think it was like 7-2 in the Europa League knockouts because they didn't qualify for it in the top 8. I think they finished like 14th, was it, I think it was, yeah, 13th they finished. So they have to play Midtjylland to beat Midtjylland. They're going through. But with Sociedad, I mean, they let a lot of players go in the summer. Obviously, Mikel Moreno was a big player for them who's gone to Arsenal, who's playing well for them now. They've had Robbie I can't say his name, Robert Lenormand, I think it is, the Spanish centre-back. They lost him, and they've lost a couple of strikers as well who bagged quite a few for them. So they're a bit disjointed at the minute. They are quite open, like in terms of you can get at them. They do play a high line, but also they don't score a lot of goals. So it's not like you're not playing an absolute world beater. This isn't a Barcelona, Atletico, or Real Madrid. You know, the quality is far less superior than that. And I think you can get at him. You've just got to take your chances in this. And having players like Garnacho and Højlund, that's where I worry, because it's not actually creating the chances. I think when you have players like Bruno Fernandes, for example, you've always got a chance. But it's whether they execute it or not. That's my main concern. But listen, this Europa League for us is absolutely massive. It's absolutely massive for us if we can go and win it. For some bizarre reason, I just have a feeling that Rasmus Højlund... not Rasmus Højlund, fucking hell. I have a feeling that Tottenham Hotspur are going to be in the final. And this might be, you know, Premier League bias or English bias or whatever. I think you might see a Tottenham United Europa League final. And imagine like the importance for both teams in that. Like Tottenham's first trophy in years. And then you've got Amorim who's just come in, the financial situation that United are in at the moment. Because I don't think Tottenham necessarily need it for finances. They're the best run club in England. But the significance of the trophy in there is mega, mega important for them. So that could be a massive final if both teams get there. But look, we've got to get past Real Sociedad. And it was Spurs. Spurs are playing Alkmaar, right? I think. And then let's have a look. I want to actually see who teams have got. So we play Real Sociedad at 5:45 tomorrow. And then we play the winner of Lyon or FCSB. FCSB, obviously, who we've already played. So you probably expect Lyon to win that. So if we do beat Sociedad in the 2 legs, we'd play Lyon. You got Fenerbahce and Rangers, Alkmaar and Tottenham, Lazio and Victoria Pleasant, Bodo Glimt, Olympiacos, Ajax and Frankfurt, Roma and Athletic Club. So there's going to be some big clubs knocked out there. Naturally, you get to the quarterfinals, you've got a real opportunity. I mean, Lyon or FCSB don't scare me at all. After this game, like if you actually put in half decent performances and start showing out, you can get there. But it's putting trust and faith in these players to do that, and I don't know if they can in particular. So, yeah, look, this has been the press conference reaction for Amorim and Matthijs de Ligt heading into this game against Real Sociedad. Let us know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section if you are on YouTube. If you can, subscribe to Real Reds Talk. If you're live on TikTok, the link is in our description. I've just put the link for the videos in the chat as well on Andre Onana and the preview for the Real Sociedad game as well. So check both of them videos out and let us know your thoughts and feelings. Apart from that, have a wonderful day, everyone.